I'm Darius McDermott, Managing Director of FundCalibre. Today I'm with Victoria Stevens and Matt Tonge, co-managers of the Liontrust UK Micro-Cap Fund. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about what you look for a company, how it is that you go on about picking stocks?
We have a process called the Economic Advantage process, which was developed about 20 years ago by a guy called Anthony Cross, our team premier. So first of all, we ask three questions of the company. Is it headquartered in the UK? Is it profitable? And do the people running it have a significant stake in it? So profitable, headquartered in the UK, and significant management holding. That's the first stage. Second stage, Victoria?
So the second stage, we basically run our process according to three separate stages. And that is, first of all, we look for a significant and enduring competitive advantage for that business. A competitive advantage that we believe will persist over time and surprise the market. Yeah. And we think that comes from a company's intangible asset strength. And we look for specific types of intangible asset strength, intellectual property, strength in distribution, and high levels of recurring income, which we think are the most powerful at generating this competitive advantage for businesses. Right. The second of those three stages is to check that competitive advantage is coming through in the financial returns. And we do that via a return on capital measure, cash flow return on capital. Right. So we look for the companies to be consistently generating a return on their capital which exceeds the cost of it, a value-creating business. And then valuation for us comes at the back end of the process. So we obviously want to make sure that the asset that we're buying hasn't got all the future upside discounted in the price already. But really for us, the focus is on getting the right types of businesses that can perform and compound for us over the long term. And
micro-cap, does that, obviously that means small, but are any of these businesses known to sort of people who watch this clip? Or are they all hidden gems that they'll know about in 10 years' time?
Well, hopefully that's the case. They'll all know about them in 10 years' time. If you look down the fund today, probably the most well-known would be a company called Belvoir Lettings, which are the UK's largest lettings agency. So if you walk down your high street, you might well have a Belvoir Lettings there. Other than that, there aren't that many household names. But if you've ever had a text from your bank, or maybe a utility, or if you've ever had it from a parcel delivery, there's a business called IMI Mobile that we own across in the fund, and that powers all those text messages for the five top retail banks. So you've been exposed to that company, but you might not know that you were.
Yeah. I think it's a great point from Matt, that a lot of our businesses might not be household names, they might not be known, but you've almost certainly interacted with
some part of one of their products or services.
Without knowing. Another example of that is Vianet. It sort of does the software and pulls data off sensors which are embedded in pubs' beer systems effectively. So it's monitoring the flow of beer through the taps that go to the pumps. I'm sure most people who are watching this video have had a pint in a pub before. Yeah. So that's quite a common theme across the portfolio.
And in the sort of the smaller part of the market, not necessarily the smaller, but there is companies when they first list, sort of IPOs, initial public offerings. Do you invest in those? Are they an area of success for you, or is that something you tend to avoid?
We're happy to buy IPOs, and really we look for the same things we would do for a listed company. So I guess the difference with an IPO is you don't often have as much trading history of the business, so you have to be a bit more careful about how much money you put in, but they can be a rich source of ideas, and the market's been good for IPOs for the last two really. So we've found a number of companies that have done quite well for us.
And whether they be IPOs or listed businesses as we stand today, where are you finding sort of the most fruitful sort of opportunities?
Well, sector-wise for us, it all comes from the process up, if you like. Yeah. So, our focus on those intangible assets does tend to lead us into certain sectors more than others. Software, engineering, healthcare services, media services, businesses, etc. But, for Matt and myself, where we found probably the most exciting opportunity for this fund in particular is that the process that we run is the same across all of the 4 funds that the team manages. But in Micro-Cap, there's a really significant valuation discrepancy for these high quality small businesses that are listed on the market, and what we find is that with Micro-Cap we can really get access to these stories at a much earlier stage and benefit not only from the growth in the earnings per share, hopefully that the company is delivering, but also a consistent re-rating as that company moves up through the size bands and it comes onto the radar of more investors. And we find that that's a really powerful driver of returns for businesses in our portfolio.
Victoria, thank you very much.
Thanks
very much.
For more information on the Liontrust UK Micro-Cap Fund, please visit FundCalibre.com.